Look what we just scored here in the shop. It is the Milwaukee M12 Underneath the Hood work light. But before we tear into this, hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you guys can stay posted when we drop videos on this. And if we didn't win your subscription in this video, well, maybe in the next one we will. Because we get Milwaukee tools as we need them here in the shop, and then we do a little bit review. So just to show you guys what might work for you and what might not work for you. So I'm going to get the table set up, and I'll see you here in a little while. Have the Milwaukee M12 Underneath the Hood work light, and this is, I believe, a very versatile light. So let's tear into this and see what you get. But this is the tool only that we picked up here. And let me try and get this open here. Opening this up. And I just don't want to have it go flying off the table because it seems like it's packed in there pretty good. Let me reach in here and pull this end out. And we'll just throw this off to the side. So, seems to be packaged pretty nice. It looks like it's pretty well simple. There's not much to this. Like I said, this is the tool only. And here is the bar that the light goes to. And it has these pads here. And I'll bring you in here to show you this here in a minute. And here is the work light as a handle with the little LEDs that come down through here. Little hook here so it looks like you could hang it if you need to. Maybe I'll do that when the light's on. But anyway, looks like a couple different modes here, on and off button on the handle, but I'm going to bring you in here in a minute when we assemble this. And just to see what else is in here, little information, instructions, and of course the little flyer that you get with Milwaukee tools. Well, I'm going to bring you guys all in here now just to show you guys what this is like and how to install it to the bar. It looks pretty simple, and this is just packing and stuff like such. So we'll just throw that off to the side and come on in here. So here's the work light, and like I said, here are this is the handle here, and this is where it has your modes. So when we put a battery in, we'll check the mode out, and the on and off, and then here is your bar that the light attaches to these right here, and then these pads seem like not a plastic, probably a very hard rubber, and this just springs out on each side. But let's try throwing a battery in here, which we do have two batteries. I do have the 4.0 and a 2.0. So let's just put one in here and we'll check out the different modes here. Snap the battery in and let's turn it on. That was one click, and it seems to be pretty bright, so I'm going to shine it down here so you guys don't get blinded. That's the first click on the mode. Second click. Turning it off. So it looks like there is two modes right here that you can click and like I said, here is the mode, turn it on and off, and then mode 1, 2. We'll put it on the lowest setting right now, and then hit the off button. So this seems to be pretty bright, and I also like the fact that if you take the light off, you can also suspend it from the non-handle side, and to just clicks in there like this, so it stows out of the way. And this is the 2.0 battery that I have in here, and then I also have the 4.0, and let's see how that fits in there. Alright, so the 4.0 battery fits in there good. Let's see if it'll stand up. And it also stands up on its own. So that's pretty neat. So if you want to have it on the floor, just get one of the bigger batteries, and you could have it on the floor and just stand it up like so. So I'm going to put the smaller battery back in here just because. So now we got the smaller battery on there, and it'll probably stand up if the surface is flat. Yeah. But the bigger batteries give it a little bit more stable base if you're going to work off the floor. Now to install this, now I'm assuming it doesn't matter which end you put this on, but if you notice here, this clamp is closer to the edge here than this clamp. You have a greater distance here. So I'm going to assume that the handle will go on that side. So we're just going to flip this around because I have the handle down at this end. And looking at this, and that seems to be about right. And to put it in, I'm just going to push it in, lock it in. Same thing on this side. And we are locked in. Now here's a little test I want to check out here before we try and apply this up onto the hood. To see if you could twist this, and yep, you could twist this and turn this any way you want. It does have a little bit of play in here, so it will go back and forth a little bit. But here's what it looks like when it's all installed. And before we put it on the hood, I'll show you that. But what do you say we get the hood popped on the Jeep, and then we're going to see if it works on the Jeep because of the fact that it has the hood is more rounded on the side here. So I'm just wondering how these clamps will work on the with the light. So let me get the hood popped and we'll get the light set up, and I'll be right back. And like I said, so here's the light closed up, and here are the pads, and they're angled pretty good. And as far as as you know, on the Jeep hood, they're more curved. They're not pinched out like so, but they more or less curved down. So we're going to test it on the Jeep hood, and I believe if it works on a Jeep hood or a second-gen Ram hood, you're pretty much well set that it's going to work on everything. And they say that this light stretches from 48 inches to 78 inches. So you have a wide variety of play. So let's get the hood opened on the Jeep and see how it fits. So I'm just going to put it over on the one side and then stretch it over. And let's go, well, we'll start from this side and we'll go over that way. And then we're just going to stretch it, let it somewhat close, and we are on there. So this is pretty neat. Let me see if we can't stretch it this way a little bit. So yeah, you can move the light bar to what side you want, and to see how it fits in there. So I'm gonna, you know what, move it down a little bit more. and see how that works down here. Okay. So it looks like the clamps want to tilt a little bit as the pressure here is not all that great, but it does work. I think it's just the way the hood contours this way. So I'm turning it on. And voila, we got light underneath the hood now. So let me bring you guys in here and show you what it looks like with the light on. Let's see the different modes. Okay, we're going to leave it on the lighter of the two settings, and then I'm going to bring you guys in here and show you with the lights on and off and stuff like that of how much light we got. Alright, so here we have the light. Like I said, it's all hooked up, and here's where I'm saying about the clamp, how it just wants to hang low, but there is enough tension on there to keep it in there and in place. And as you can see on the other side, now like I said, that this is on the G-Hood, and the second gen Ram is somewhere similar, so I'm assuming more with the flatter hoods, these clamps will dig in pretty good right there. So let's see how much light we got on the light bar here. So here we are with the light on, and then let's hit the second mode. And it has brightened it up, and as you can see, we do have quite a bit of light shining down in there. And the good thing about this is that you could twist it to where you need to. So that's pretty cool. Now I'm thinking that we should turn the lights off and see how much light this gives off. All right, there we have it. We have it on the lower of the two settings, and that's what it looks like here in the dark. As you can see, the light is penetrating down to the floor. So let's take a walk up here and see what it looks like. Now this is pitch dark here in the shop, and that's how much light that it illuminates out here. And it gives you plenty enough light. Now let me turn it up onto the second mode, or the higher setting, and that's even brighter yet. So let me take you guys back and show you how much brighter that is. So that's what we're looking like with the work light on. Plenty of light. Especially if you take this out on the road with you and get stuck in the dark, and it's for multiple uses too, because you could stand it up. Well, I'm going to turn the lights back on and then give you guys my final thoughts of what I think about this Milwaukee M12 under the hood work light. So here are my final thoughts on the Milwaukee under the hood work light. I think it's a win-win here for in the shop. If you're looking for a little bit more lighting, because you know, if in the shop it should be well illuminated anyway, but if you want to shine up those dark areas, this light is more than plenty to do that. And I like it very well. I like the fact that it has the hard rubber pads here, not foams to where they'll tear. It looks like these will hold up quite a while, and between the oil, grease, or whatever will not tear down and break a foam pad or a cushioning pad. Maybe if you want a little bit more protection, put a microfiber towel over it, but then chances of it slipping off might be a little bit greater. Who knows? We might put that to the test. Another key factor that I like on this, that if you once you have your bars extended out, this one out and this one in, you can always take the whole light bar itself and jockey it over to where it's more center in your work area. And another key factor, it has two modes, a high and a low. Low and a high, off. And the fact that this piece actually comes off from your rail. So the fact that this comes off from the rail is a nice added feature, because you could stand this up as a standalone unit, lay it on the ground if you're underneath the vehicle, so you could illuminate underneath the vehicle. And what's also nice about this is the hook, you could hang it and it swivels around to where you need it. And another key factor, which I didn't point that out before, which I just seen it now, is that these pads on the end, there's one here on the end, and you see how they're octagon? And then you also have the handle that is also octagon. So you could lay this on the ground on any of those flat surfaces. So if you lay it this way, the light will shine that way. Tip it a little bit, it'll shine that way, so forth. And it'll go around like that, and it prevents it from rolling also. So if these were rounded and you were working on the car underneath, or your vehicle underneath, and need a little bit more light, this might roll. So being that these are octagon, it will stay in place, and you could direct which directions you want the light. One other factor about this is that inside, or how you mount this to the handle, this slides back and forth very freely, so it's very easy to maneuver this any way you want it. You don't have to really yank on it, twist it. You could just do it with 2 fingers, and it moves very freely. I think maybe that over time it might wear a little bit, so if it was just a little bit tighter on these clamps here, that would be a plus. But now, just pushing down on its weight, on its own weight, it's just harder to maneuver it. So maybe just pulling the light to one side or the other will lock it in place, or snug it in place just enough to where you need it. But just the light alone, hanging here and putting it where you want, very nice. I think this is going to be a great asset for the shop. I can't wait to put this to use, because we got some things going on the 5th gen Ram Cummins that we're going to need. We're going to be underneath the hood doing a few things, so this is going to come in handy. Well, guys, I hope this video finds it handy to see if you guys would like one of these work lights. I think it's a very versatile light. Like I said, you could use it on the bar or off the bar, and as you've seen, it illuminated quite well, and better than my expectations, or better than what I thought it would. Well, hope you guys liked the video. Till next time, I'm Joe, driving trucks and hunting bucks is how I roll it. Wicked Fabz!